Harm Reduction Dilemma by Bailey, Claire, and Neela.
The harm reduction dilemma was first conceptualized in England during the 1980s as a way of coping with the rising HIV epidemic. The rising number of cases was due to the use of injection drugs with unsanitized needles. The dilemma discusses the idea that through the downfall of traditional problem-solving methods, an alternative and more intensive method could yield better results of an issue.
Our dilemma poses the question, should an intervention provide strategies that support behaviors in order to prevent certain people from further harm, even if the behaviors are not socially approved or viewed as immoral by some people? In the next few slides, we will be going through a few common public health interventions that use harm reduction in order to minimize risks involved with certain illicit activities. Alcohol-related incidents lead to many risks, like car accidents, irreversible injuries, and even death. Many individuals disapprove of over-consuming alcohol and drunk driving, but telling people to stop going out and drinking would not solve this problem. A better way to reduce drunk driving is through a harm reduction strategy, such as promoting groups of friends to take turns being the designated driver for their nights out, meaning one friend would stay sober so they can safely drive everyone home at the end of the night, eliminating the need for anyone to get behind the wheel while intoxicated. Even though they are illegal, injection drugs are used by many people here in the United States. Not only do these drugs come with their own negative side effects, but the way that they are used can be very dangerous as well. A lot of times, individuals are not using clean needles when they do these drugs, leading them to possibly contract and/or spread HIV. It is also common with dirty needles to develop skin irritation and rashes. Although it would not stop individuals from using these illegal drugs, a harm reduction strategy to keep them safer and reduce the spread of HIV would be providing them with new and clean syringes. Another strategy is to educate these individuals on the risks of using these drugs and how they can best use and then dispose of their needles safely.
Another example of a situation in which harm reduction strategies can be used is related to the sexual activity of adolescents. Although society often condemns the engagement in sexual activity at a young age, implementing harm reduction may reduce the risks associated with these behaviors. Some examples of the risks that are associated with sexual activity are the transmission of STDs and unwanted pregnancies. The harm reduction strategies that can be used to combat these risks are providing contraceptives, as well as teaching sex education courses throughout school. It's also interesting to note that studies show that teaching sex education has proven more effective in reducing the negative outcomes compared to abstinence-only teaching.
There are over 200 harm reduction programs across the U.S., but most of them only offer things such as needle exchange and methadone for stopping the spread of HIV and curbing addiction. There are also programs helping substance abuse such as HIV, HPV, and HCV counseling, but these programs only help once the problems are there. A study conducted in 2015 conveyed that $2.3 billion is what is needed to successfully fund the HIV prevention programs. They found that only $160 million was given that year, only 7% of the total required. By the same study, it is shown that $100 billion is spent annually just on the Drug Enforcement Agency.
There are mixed opinions regarding the use of harm reduction strategies in health interventions. Those who support harm reduction believe that people are going to engage in these certain potentially harmful activities regardless. Therefore, we should implement methods that reduce the risks associated with these certain behaviors. Also, studies have shown that it is more effective to provide safety resources compared to trying to prohibit the activities completely. On the other hand, some don't agree with the idea of harm reduction. These people may believe that it promotes engagement in the harmful or illegal activities, and they refuse to show support for the actions that they view as immoral, regardless of the possible benefits of the harm reduction strategies.
Information varies from media to media, so down below I will incorporate a few well-knowledgeable sources advocating for harm reduction of drugs. I will also include a few websites and videos explaining harm reduction of specific drugs, so if you or someone you know participates in consumption, you will know how to do it safely. We were hoping to make the presentation a bit more interactive, so we created a short survey in order to assess how the class felt about harm reduction.